Aziz. Okay, Ali is Zain. There's Mayar. There's Muhammad. Okay, and then Bashar Hamu for the Zakat. Rihan Kanji. Rihan, what are you doing? Both surahs. Okay. And Muhammad Al-Alami, MashaAllah. Sama Al-Alami, MashaAllah. Abd Al-Hafiz Al-Halabi. Okay. And then there's Amir Al-Yusuf. Amir, MashaAllah. Okay. So inshallah, you will participate. We will wait until Sheikh Mustafa comes in. In the meantime, I'm going to start the, I don't know what to call it, workshop. Yes. Sure, you can still participate. Absolutely. You didn't register, but you want to do it. Which surah? Surah what? Naba? You do Surah Al-Naba. Okay. Inshallah. Okay, we'll write your names, don't worry. So you want to, if you win, you know that you will get 25 cents. Did they tell you that? 25 is okay? No problem, okay. Inshallah. Now for the Zakat, after deliberations and talking about it, the idea was that some people may be reluctant to come here in the open because we don't have the facility, to have a closed space. And so what we will do, we will announce you as the Zakat officers at the Islamic Center, and people may call you. And if you are stuck on something, you can call me and we will explain it that way. So the initial idea of having stations, in the Islamic Center is scrapped now because it will create, uncomfortable feelings for some people. Yes?
Do you think we can do it by appointment and then use the classroom?
We can do that. You see, it's up to you and the person who wants to calculate their zakat. You have to arrange with them whether it will be here, whether it will be over the phone, whether it will be in any format. It's up to the, I will say, 3 of you now. Okay, am I correct?
See, Monday to Friday there's no school, so it will be good for the holidays.
So basically, what I'm saying is that you have to make the arrangement with the person, herself or himself. Okay. To calculate, you just came? Okay, what's your name, Habibi? Jalal? Jalal. Jalal. Jalal, did you register for the Quran? You just want to attend? MashaAllah, okay. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. Yes? That's why I'm surprised. Okay, so we'll see what will happen, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made certain fara'id, certain obligations that we have no choice but to do. Our deen is standing on 5 pillars. 4 of them we have to do at specific times, and the 5th one we have to do with every breath we take. Everything we do in life, we should do with the first pillar of Islam, and that is La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. We have to live that. We have to make sure that we are conforming with the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our emotions, in our actions, in our dealings with other people, in observing the halal and getting away from the haram. This is La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. So it's the most comprehensive thing. And then, inside this cover of Tawheed, we have the pillar we call Salat, and there are 5 daily salawat we have to perform, at certain times. And then we have Zakat, which many people either are intimidated by the very concept of it and they consider it too complicated, and some people try to avoid it, and some people don't really think seriously about the importance of zakat. So this is a pillar that I call orphaned at an early age. So we have to really raise awareness about zakat and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives barakah in exchange for the zakat for the needy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have given all people equally, and then we will not need to exchange these things. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted people to feel that they need each other, that they interact with each other. And that's why zakat. We have fasting during the month of Ramadan, which we talked about, which is way beyond abstaining from eating and drinking. I mentioned in many talks that the abstention from eating and drinking is just the vehicle. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, that it's like basically in Salat, when we do this, if we don't say anything, we just do this, or we do sujood without saying anything, without feeling it, it will be just basically movements. So when we stop eating and drinking, what did we do? No, it's what we behave, what we gain, what we really learn, how we live our lives for 30 days or 29 days. This is fasting. And going for Umrah and Hajj as well is to feel the belonging to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the true submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at difficult times, because Umrah and Hajj, when it is so crowded, it's not easy. You have to really feel that you are part of this universe. So today we want to talk about zakat. And by the way, I want to clear the notion that zakat is the favor, as some people think, that we do to 8 categories of people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah At-Tawbah. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها. 8 categories which I will mention, that are mentioned in Surah At-Tawbah, that you can give zakat to. Some people think that, alhamdulillah, I'm doing this favor to those. No, it's not a favor. It's a right. Right. So let us right at the outset mention what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that He placed with you some wealth that is not your right. It is not yours. So let us understand this. It is not your money. It is with you. If you withhold it and do not give it to the rightful owners that Allah assigned you to pass to them, then it will be like stealing from those people, because it's not yours. وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. That in their wealth there is a right for those who are needy and those who are deprived of the necessities of life. Not because, as we heard in Surah Yasin a couple of days ago, أَنُطْعِمُ مَنْ لَوْ يَشَاءُ اللَّهُ أَطْعَمَهُ. Why should we be concerned about feeding or providing for those? Had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wished, He would have provided for them. No. Allah could provide for everybody. Allah provides for a little worm inside a rock that we cannot see, but Allah is providing sustenance for that worm. Allah has way more than what we see. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through this testing grounds that we call al-hayat al-dunya, He wants to see, anu'minu am nakfur. Are we going to be believers or are we going to deny faith? So let us put this right away, in front of us. Now, let's move into the practical aspect of zakat. The nature of money always evolves. During our lifetime, I never thought, or my father never thought that money could be a plastic card. I never thought that there will be something called cryptocurrency. People mentioned that to me, and I said, please, let me study it first. I don't know what it is. Okay, cryptocurrency. And also, there are things, as I will mention them as I studied this. Okay, money keeps evolving. At the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, money was gold and silver. There was no paper note. There was no, you give paper and no, it was gold and silver. And that's why, the quota, or what we call nisab, if your savings from gold and silver reach that after 1 lunar year, then you have to give that much. It's very simple. It is very simple. And for gold, there was a quota. For silver, there was a quota. And now that we have paper note money and other forms of money, if we go back to the gold and silver, we find out that if we use the silver nisab, it's way less than the gold nisab. Okay, so we have to really learn how to convert, how to use, we cannot just say, well, Imam Abu Hanifa said this, Imam Shafi'i said that, because Imam Abu Hanifa did not know what cryptocurrency is. Imam Abu Hanifa did not know what RRSP is. Imam Al-Shafi'i did not know what RESP is. They did not know these things. They did not know what bonds, mutual funds, all of these things are realities of today. And that's why we need to use their fiqh and cast it on today and, try to deal with zakat accordingly. So because money evolves, so our understanding of zakat should evolve, but not deviate from the principle. We have to use the knowledge therein, the Quran and the Sunnah and the ulama, and use it to know how to deal with our zakat. Now, the word zakat, by the way, means increase, affluence, and purification. So people who think that zakat is equal to tax, because tax takes away from your wealth, okay, zakat, on the contrary, a believer knows that the more zakat and sadaqah I give, my wealth is going to increase. And that's where many ahadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and in the Quran, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. That when you will assign a certain amount of zakat, it will be for causing their wealth to increase and to purify it. How do you purify your wealth? By saying that I'm going to give fi sabilillah, I'm not going to hold on to it and feel that the more I collect them, that is a negative feeling that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to deliver us from. Before I go any further, I want you to refer, if you have time, to an excellent lecture by Sheikh Arij Anwar on the modern understanding of currency and how we give zakat on investment. And I would like you to, if you do not get everything from today's talk, that you refer to it inshallah and learn more. And especially the three of you, I want you to refer Sheikh Arij Anwar, who used to be the Imam here at the Islamic Center, and he was the Imam at the London Muslim Mosque, and now he is investing. Okay, so we have to understand that there are 4 things that if we have, we need to give zakat for. What are these 4 things that if we own, we have to give zakat on? Now, 2 of the things that I'm going to mention may not be of concern to all of us or the majority of us. But the other 2, one for sure for all of us, and the other one for some of us for sure. Now, having mentioned those general statements, let me explain what I mean. Number 1, farmers who own cattle or livestock, they have to give zakat on the cattle and livestock, and every kind of cattle or livestock has a different formula for zakat. And how many farmers are here? I knew you're a farmer. Okay. Okay, now because of that, we're not going to talk about that. Okay, now number 2, also farmers who have crops. Now, some crops are watered by rain. They don't need active watering and having, irrigation system installed and, people to turn on irrigation and turn off irrigation and things. So if it is, watered by rain, it is 10% at the time that you cultivate your crops. If it is to be by active irrigation system, it's 5%. But are there any farmers here? You are. Okay. Well, mashallah. So your father is going to have a word with you. Okay. Now, so we're not going to talk about that. Now, the one that concerns all of us, or most of us, because some did not reach the age of earning and saving, and so they will just learn for their future, and some do not have the conditions that should be met to pay zakat, so they should know, but they are not concerned right now. So this is number 3, that we have to learn how to pay zakat on. If we have cash, or if we have gold, or if we have silver. Okay? So this is the most we have to learn about. Now, number 4, if we are business owners. So on business commodities, we have to pay zakat, and we will talk in more detail about that. Now, what is a business commodity? A business commodity is a business that sells a product or sells a service to make money. Okay, so this is a business commodity. So if we have cash in the bank, or if we have gold certificates that are with the bank, or if we have the gold hiding under our bed, which is not something that Okay, so this is a category. And the other one, if we own a business, if we own a practice, if we own a service, a travel agency, if we own a medical practice, if we own a law office, if we, we will talk about that. So these are the 4 things, but 2 of them, don't worry about them, and the other 2 we will talk about, inshallah. Now, I have to go back and forth. Now, when do you start to think zakat on any of the 4? Or now we'll say on the 2 that we discussed. Now, number 1 condition, there are 4 conditions, and this is where I want the 3 of you to pay attention. Somebody comes to you and says, yes, quickly. Okay, these secondary notes, let's keep it to the end, okay? So unless you have a question for me to clarify, okay? So there are 4 conditions that should be met in order for any of the 4, or in this case, the 2, for us to pay zakat on. What are the 4 conditions? I come to you, Hussein, for example, and I say, I have, been making money for 6 months and I want to pay zakat. You'll say, oh, wait a minute. You don't meet one of the conditions that you really require for you to pay zakat. And that's number 1 condition is you should have complete ownership and accessibility to that money. For example, I gave Brother Yusuf a loan. Okay, he said, I'll give it back to you after 2 years. While it is with my brother Yusuf, okay, and he says, I'm sorry, I cannot even think of giving it back to you before the 2 years. So the majority of scholars say that during these 2 years, this money is not mine. I do not have access to it. I do not have full ownership of that. Other scholars, and by the way, you will find me say this or that, and you may have to ask your heart, shall I follow these qualified scholars or these qualified scholars? Now, the majority say, if, when I lent you, the money, you said, please don't even mention the money to me before 2 years, then I don't have access to it. It's not mine. Others say, if you know that after 2 years, for sure, Yusuf will give you the money, then it is your money and you have to pay zakat on it, as if it's yours. Because you have accessibility to that money, even after 2 years. I tend to go with the first opinion, that it's not mine. It's with you now. Okay? Once you give it back to me, and it stays for the second condition. What's the second condition? The second condition is that it should be untouched for an entire lunar year. Untouched for an entire. Therefore, let us clarify things very, let us, it's redundant to say clarify clearly. Okay, so let's make it very clear that if, I have this money in my checking account and I'm using it and I'm spending from it and things, it's not on my earnings for a lunar year. It's on my savings, which I did not touch. Which I did not touch. Now, number 2, it should meet the nisab or the quorum. Now, I have money for an entire year that's been saved. Now, Again, because it's banknote, I have to convert that according to those who say you have to convert it to the gold nisab. The gold nisab is 85 grams of gold at the time you have to pay the zakat. So you check, you Google, what's the value of 85 grams of gold? Okay, for example, today if it's around $6,000 Canadian, okay, then I have to see, do I have for the entire year in my bank account, in my savings, more than $6,000? If it is yes, then I pay zakat on it. If it is less, let's say I had $4,800 in my bank account that I did not touch, but it is less than the gold nisab, then I don't pay zakat on it. Now, if you use the silver nisab, which is 595 grams of silver, okay, the value of which is around $600. Look at it's 1/10. So if you want to follow the silver nisab, if you have more than $600 for a year, you have to pay zakat on it. If you follow the gold nisab, it's 6,000. Big discrepancy. So the followers of the Hanbali school of thought gave a solution which I believe is because all the other schools, they say you have, the choice. And what did they say? They say, وَأَحْسِن, mean try to be as good in your intention. So go with the gold so that you will do the best thing you can. Now some people will say, why should I go with the gold? And then their nafs will start to say, why don't I just do the bare minimum and go with the silver? And so they start to really have a back and forth battle inside them. The Hanabila, they gave a beautiful solution. They say, why don't you calculate the average of the silver and the gold and follow that? So add the value of 6,000 plus 600, divide by 2, so that $3,300, and consider that as the nisab, as the quota that you will have for an entire lunar year. So the possession for an entire lunar year is one condition, that the minimum, which we call nisab, is another condition, and you have full ownership and accessibility is the third condition. Now the fourth condition is not for us. It's for people who really play games, astaghfirullah, with their wealth. They mix halal sources and haram sources and things, and then they come at the end of the lunar year and they say, we will pay zakat on them. You don't pay zakat on haram income. If you sell lottery, in a variety store, and then you calculate everything that you've been saving, and then you pay zakat, you don't do that. You should, when it comes for zakat, you have to really sit with yourself and say, it's time for me to clean my income. So fuqaha, scholars put this as the fourth condition, say make sure that you don't, think that by paying zakat on all of your income, if it is mixed halal and haram, that you have really cleared your conscience, because no, you will not clear your conscience. This is not right. Okay? So now back to the three: complete ownership and accessibility, meet the nisab, possession for one lunar year. Now, what are the things that we shouldn't worry about paying zakat on? By the way, before I go any further, zakat is a very restricted activity. Not everything that you own is zakatable. Look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it restricts what you pay zakat on. Not everything. So let us see what you don't pay zakat on. So people come to you and say, I own a house. So the value of the house is $1 million. How much zakat do I pay on it? You say nothing. You own it. And you have full accessibility to it. You have full ownership. It says, but you told me the condition, full ownership. I own it. You don't pay zakat on, so number one, if you owe, now Yusuf, you owe me the $2,000 or whatever, and you have it, okay? I'm not going to ask you, why did you take it from me if it was sitting in your bank account, and it's none of my business, okay? So you had it for a year, you did not use it. And it is not your money, it's mine, but it's sitting with you. You do not pay zakat on the loan that you owe me. Even though you are wrong in having taken it from me and put it in your bank account and you did not use it. But technically you don't pay zakat on it. So number one, you don't pay zakat on loans. You do not pay zakat on residential or investment properties. You have a piece of land, paid off completely, but you use it for agricultural purposes. Now farming. You pay zakat on the crops, but the land itself is not zakatable. And I'm going to talk something similar when we talk about business commodities. Might as well mention to equate now business commodities. What do I mean by that? Now, I have a bakery. So I have an oven, I have shelves, I have a fridge, I have, all of these fixed assets in the business I do not pay zakat on, because they are helping me to do the business. But when I sell the bread and I make money and I pay the expenses, salaries for my employees and the hydro and this, and then I have a profit. I spend from it, to pay rent for my family and to buy clothes and to do this and to do that. And then I've been, saving some money, okay, from this business, okay, and it reached over the nisab, $3,300, for example, for more than a year. That's what I pay zakat on. But my business, the fixed assets and what I make from it and the expenses and things, what I make from that, that's zakatable. So, residential or investment property. Now, number three, I do not pay zakat on inaccessible wealth. For example, I have a pension, okay, and the pension is accumulated. I don't have access for it until I reach 65 or whatever the rule is. When I start to cash from it, then it will be dealt with the same as a salary. If I save from what I'm cashing for an entire year and it's more than $3,300, then that I will pay zakat on. But the pension itself, when I start to cash it, I don't. While it is sitting with my employer, I don't have access to it. Okay? And also, if it is a locked-in retirement account, many places of employment, they deduct at source for a separate retirement account. They don't give it, you don't have access to it. They will start to give it to you, different than CPP, okay? They start to give it to you when you are ready to retire. When you cash it, okay, and you pay the taxes on it, then after that, if it sits in your savings for a year and it is more than that nisab, then that's when you start to pay zakat on it. Believe it or not, You pay on gold and silver, but you do not pay on precious metals. You don't, if you have a diamond jewelry, or you don't pay zakat on it. You pay on gold or silver jewelry. But if you have a diamond ring, you do not pay zakat on it. But Imam Abu Hanifa has a different opinion when it comes to that, and we'll talk about this in more detail. Now, Imam Abu Hanifa says any jewelry that you have, every year you have to pay zakat on it. But Shafi'i, Hanbali, Maliki, they say you don't accept the jewelry of gold and silver that you buy for the purpose of storing for investment. And whatever you use for everyday use, okay, you don't pay zakat on it. Unlike Imam Abu Hanifa says, whether you use it or you don't use it, or you store it in your safe in the bank or whatever, you pay on everything. Okay? So you choose whatever your heart tells you. Now, we talked about this, cash, investment, yes.
Can you clarify what you said about the other three methods they said?
You know, they say if you have jewelry of gold and silver, okay, that you use, you know, you do not really overdo it, but it's just normal use, you don't pay zakat on it. No, if it is stored for the purpose of investment so that the value of gold will rise and then you will sell it and buy more and this and that, that one, okay, you have to pay zakat on. Okay. Now, how much do we pay zakat on the cash we have, on the gold or the silver? 2.5%. 2.5%. So let us know that. 2.5%. So we convert the gold, we convert the silver, we have the cash, and we talked about that. The conditions that have to be met, we pay 2.5%. So now, for the rest of the time, I will be talking about, investments. You know, and this is the new feature that became so different than the investment that they used to have in the past. And look, shall we invest, or is investment something that is gray area? Absolutely not. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is reported to have said, ألا من ولي يتيم له مال فليتجر به حتى لا تأكله الصدقة. Meaning, if someone becomes in charge of the wealth of an orphan, let that person who's in charge now invest that wealth. Otherwise, it will be absorbed by sadaqah. Every year you have to pay 2.5%. 2.5%. When the yatim becomes older, there's no money. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us that we should invest it. Look at how practical Rasulullah ﷺ was. So now, by qiyas, by analogy, you see, by analogy, our own money should be invested as per the direction of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Otherwise, if it is sitting idle, okay, then it will be eaten away by sadaqah. By, every year we have to pay from it. So no, we have to invest. So there are rules. Now, so should we pay zakat on investment? What do you think? Should we?
I think we still should, because we aren't orphans.
No, I'm using analogy, the investment. So if we have an investment, shall we pay zakat on investment? Absolutely. Okay, now, there are key questions that we need to determine before we will pay zakat on investments. Now, again, number one, please write notes. Is the investment fully accessible? partially accessible or unaccessible. There are investments, like for example, RESP, okay, for the education fund. It is not accessible. Once you put it there, when your child is 21 years of age, that's when it'll be paid to your son or daughter. And by the way, it's not your money. It's out of love that you put it in RESP. So it is not accessible. Okay? So because it is not accessible, so we can answer right away that for RESP you do not pay zakat. Okay? And by the way, we have an expert accountant. Please correct me because this is your field. Okay? So anything that I will say that is not in line with the tax laws. By the way, before I forget, Brother Muhammad, alerted me that next time I do a fundraiser, I used it yesterday in Toronto, by the way, what you told me. Now, if we pay, let's say, $5,000 to the Islamic Center, and you get a tax receipt, you did not pay $5,000 because the first $200 of the $5,000, they will give you 20% of it. So you get $40, so you paid only $160. So you did not pay $200. You paid $160. The $40 will come back to you. Now $4,800, you will get 40% of that. 40%. And what's the 40% of $4,800? Accountant. About $1,600. Add to them $40, so that's $1,640 that you will get back. So you did not donate to the center $5,000. They benefited from $5,000, but actually you paid, $3,400. So let us, help. By the way, many of the other charities, they use this, and I thank you very much for alerting me to this because I do lots of fundraising, okay, and when people think that I'm getting this money back, okay, then why don't I help my place of worship? Why don't I help the Islamic school? Why don't I help Islamic Relief? Why don't I help Penny Appeal? Why? These, and by the way, even if you give zakatul mal, even when you get zakatul mal, the 2.5%, you will get back according to this formula. And why not? Then you add it, and if it is in your savings for another year, then you can give back, so it becomes perpetual. Yes? Yeah, sorry, yeah. But when it comes to tax laws, CRA is not going to say, are you paying zakatul mal or are you going sadaqah? They don't care. Okay, so let us pay attention and help as much as we can. Now, so is the investment fully accessible, partially accessible, or inaccessible? So when we mentioned the locked-in retirement accounts, it's not accessible. It's locked in. There's another fund called the Lira. Okay, now this is not accessible because if you will take a certain portion, this is partially accessible, by the way. Okay, when you take, they allow you only a certain portion, a certain percentage. You cannot, like RRSP, it's fully accessible, but if you take it, it will drain you. Okay, so we will talk about that. So if accessible partially or inaccessible. Number two, did you voluntarily contribute to it? It's like the individually managed retirement account. It's RRSP that they tell me that this year you have that much allowed, before you will file your taxes. I manage it. I talk to my financial advisor and say, how much can I still contribute? So I manage it. So it makes a big difference. While if it is managed by your place of employment, you don't pay tax on that, you don't pay zakat on that. Now, number three, there are some investments, some stocks, some financial investments that resemble cash. Like I have some money and I go to a successful company and I say, I will give you that much money and you will invest it for me and you will give me a return. So this is like cash. Whereas if I buy a halal stock in Suncor or in Petrocan or a halal stock, this is like a business commodity because Suncor has fixed assets, has employees, has so you have to find out, does it resemble cash or does it resemble business commodity? And there are two different ways of dealing with it. Number four, are you now living off your investment or are you still building it? Like for me now, I'm retired. I am living off the investment that I made while I was working. And that makes a big difference. But if you are still building your portfolio, you're contributing to it, it's dealt with completely differently. Now, so let us comment on these four conditions. Now, if you did not voluntarily contribute to your investment and cannot access it, that is not zakatable. And I gave the example of CPP, the Canadian pension plan. Okay, you don't go to your employer and say, how much do I have in my CPP? Okay, he'll say, okay, that much, okay, I'll pay zakat because, no, okay? So, and you did not voluntarily contribute to it. Now, if you contributed to it voluntarily, then it is zakatable, like the TFSP, which is the tax-freeing savings plans, like RRSP, like they tell you if you invest in this, it's a tax shelter. Then, if I voluntarily contributed to it, then I have to pay zakat. How do I do that? Look, I go to the person who invested that for me, and I say, can you please give me the dynamics of my investment from last Ramadan until this Ramadan? So he will give me a curve, up and down, it moved, and then I go and say, now, where is the lowest value of my investment for the last year? Okay, let me finish and then you can ask. Okay, so where is the lowest? You have to pay a penalty for being late, Mustafa. Okay, so where is the lowest value? Let's say in July, my portfolio dipped to the lowest. I started with $5,000 last Ramadan, and then it went up to 7,000, then it went to 4,500, then it went to 8,000, then it went this and this, and then now it ended with $6,000. So I started with 5, and now it's 6,000, but in July it was $3,800. So what's the value that stayed for an entire year? What's the value? It's the $3,800. It's the lowest. The $3,800 is what stayed as the lowest amount of that portfolio. That's what stayed. It's not the $5,000. Now, I take the $3,500 or the $3,800 and I ask my advisor, if I will cash the entire portfolio right now, how much penalties and taxes do I have to pay? He will tell me, depending on your income bracket, you have to pay 51%, you have to pay 40%, you have to pay that much, that much, that much. So I take that out, and then if I have $1,200 left, then I pay 2.5% on the $1,200. That's how we deal with it. Now, if you contributed voluntarily and the access is partial, it's not full, the portion collected after subtracting the same thing, taxes and penalties, is zakatable. Now, finally, if I voluntarily contributed and cannot access like the RESP and like the lira, then you don't pay zakat on that. Okay? Now, this is where I need you to focus, and if you do not get it now, and most probably it'll be too difficult to grasp, but I will try my very best. How to calculate zakat on investments. There is a simple way, and there is a complicated way based on calculation. Now, the simple way is you combine everything in your portfolio, you convert it to cash, you subtract the penalties and the taxes if you cash it right now, and you pay 2.5% on that. That's the simplest way. It's a simple way. And some people do that. But, as you will, after I give you the example, but you may end up with 3 times as more zakat as if you will calculate it properly. But some scholars, from Amja, say, why not help the poor with that 3 times that? But we go back again to the nisab of silver or the nisab of gold. Are we going to follow silver and pay much more, or follow gold and pay much less? So now the calculated option requires some equations that we lay people cannot work with. Maybe Brother Muhammad knows how to calculate it, and he will help you to do it. And you really need to know those equations. And if in doubt, you can come and ask me, and I'll explain it to you. Now, what you do, you take every account in your portfolio. Let's say you have invested in 5 stocks. Every stock is different than the other. One stock is similar to cash, another one is similar to a business commodity, another cash, another. So you take each one of them and you sit either by yourself or with your advisor, and you start to calculate. Now, you determine, is this stock fully accessible? Can I cash it right now if I want? Or is it partial or non-partial? Then we go back to the rules that I mentioned earlier. Did I contribute to that stock on my own, or was it a group stock that my employer made me, forced me, whatever, to invest in? Now, does it look, as I said, cash or a business commodity? Now, so as I said, let me give you an example. The first option is that you consider it like cash and you multiply by 2. The example that I may give you here is that let's say Suncor, the stock price is $27.02. If I own 1,000 shares in Suncor, the current value, not what I invested, I might have bought 1,000 shares a year ago, and the cost per share was $32. So I put $32,000. But now the value is $27,002. The value is not $32,000 anymore. It's $27,020. That's what we have to really calculate the zakat on. Okay? Now, so we take the $27,020 and we multiply it by 2.5%. And we pay $675.50. And that's a simple way of doing it. So we just say, how much is the value? And I calculate it. And I add it to the other stocks. Now, the more complicated, calculated option is to find out, let's say, Suncor, what's their fixed assets. Now, the fixed assets of Suncor, there's a spreadsheet that they provide you. You ask for it as an investor. They give you the balance sheet when you ask for it. So they give you the balance sheet, and you find that their total current assets, when you want to calculate your zakat, is $9,386,000,000. And there is something for every company that is in the stock market. There is a value called market cap. Market cap. So there is the total current assets of Suncor or Petrocan or Royal Bank of Canada or Canada Trust or whatever, wherever you are investing. So there is the total current assets of Petrocan or Suncor, and there is the market cap, which is what that company is allowed to reach. And then they will tell you, stop. You can't. You cannot eat everybody else. So it's called market cap. So the market cap is $41,040,000,000. So what you do, you divide the 9,386,000,000 by 41,140,000,000. Then this is the percentage that Suncor is worth for your stock. So your stock, even though its current value, the 1,000 shares, is $27,020, in fact it is not, because it is governed by that ratio of the total current assets divided by the market cap. And then the answer, you multiply it by 2.5% and look at the answer. Whereas if you went simple cash calculation, $675.50 in zakat, for that you pay $154.11, which is much less than that. Now, scholars say again, pay more, the poor can use it, but some people say, I'm going to, please don't quote me on this because I don't like this example. There are some people who pray fard only. But there are people who love to pray sunnah and nafil and qiyam and, وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So the poor need it. So if you want to go with the simple calculation and pay the 675, but if you choose to pay $154, you can. Okay? So now I know that we really need to, the kids are waiting, and we have to get into that. Now very quickly, I will explain it to you later, okay? But there are exchange traded funds, ETFs. These are, tax shelters like mutual funds, like bonds, that have fixed return, which is interest. So this is something that Muslims should avoid, that there are certain certificates that you go to the bank and you buy them. They are tax shelters, but they give you, let's say, 7%. Now, Muslims should avoid these. So I'm not going to talk about them, even though they do exist, okay? And some Muslims have them, but if they have them, they need to be treated the same as the stocks that they own. So for properties that you own, again, for the sake of those who own properties, so the house of your residence, you do not pay zakat on it. The investment properties, you do not pay zakat on it unless if you bought it to flip it. So you buy, when the market is on the low side, you sell when it is on the high side, you make some money. So what you do for such, you do not pay for the actual property that you bought, but the money you made is taxable if it becomes 1 lunar year and is obviously above the nisab. So you pay on what you made. Then if you use it before the year passes and you buy another property and you make more money, scholars say you can keep doing that and you don't pay zakat on it. Rental properties, you consider it like a business commodity. You do not pay zakat on the actual house, but the rent you collect, you add it to your income. But if you pay, for property tax, and if you pay for, that is expense that you remove, but the money, the net that you add, and it is in the pool of money that you have. Now, if it is 1 lunar year, you pay, you consider it like any other income that you have. Now, precious metals, as I said, I mentioned it earlier, that according to the Hanafi, any jewelry you have, you pay zakat on, irrespective. But Shafi'i, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and Malik, they say only silver and gold. Precious metals you do not pay zakat on. Okay? Now, cryptocurrencies and other forms, there is something that I wrote it here, but I came to know about it yesterday, actually, when I was doing the, there is something called, believe it or not, I was stunned, NFT. MashaAllah alayk. Okay, now, and I found out that there is an Indian from India who bought $70 million worth of NFTs, which is non-funded tokens. Non-funded tokens, it's an artwork that becomes registered under your name. Nobody can use it, and it's like currency. And its value may increase. If people want to use it, they have to pay you, and so this is like cryptocurrencies, which is digital money, and it is treated like cash. Like cash. If the value increases, it's like cash. Okay, so with that, I think that I have covered everything. And now, yes, I covered everything. So what we really need to do, I was hoping that all 10 people will be here, but only the 3 of you attended. So the 3 of you, I have to sit with you further, and I have to make sure that you understand all the concepts, and then we will give your names to members of the community. And by the way, not that I should have mentioned that earlier, but if you will help the people to calculate their zakat, you are entitled to a portion of that zakat. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mentions in the Quran, وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا, that those who help to collect the funds and to distribute the funds and this. So inshallah we will talk about that. So this will be another source of income for you, inshallah. So inshallah, I hope that our community will rise to the level of doing that, because wallahi, and I will end by this, if Muslims who are eligible to pay zakat will pay their zakat, all of them, wallahi, there will be no poor Muslim in the world. And I say it by Allah, there will be no poor Muslim in the world. But because they don't, we are finding the need for Islamic Relief and IDRF and HCI and Penny Appeal and Humanity and because people are in desperate need for that. Yes.
I noticed on your Facebook you posted that Penny Appeal thing.
Yes.
There's a thirst reveal, so a thirst relief.
Yes. Yeah.
If you pay into that, that
Yes.
would be considered something.
Absolutely. No, zakat. Absolutely. Anything that will help the poor is zakat. Zakatul mal. Okay? And let us not forget zakatul fitr. Okay, please. Every person in your household, even, scholars say that if a baby is born, let's say, before sunset on the last day of Ramadan, you have to pay zakat al-fitr on that baby, because the condition is to live part of Ramadan and part of Shawwal. So if a few minutes before sunset a baby is born, so it lived a few minutes before sunset in Ramadan and then into Shawwal. So you have to pay sadaqat al-fitr on behalf of that baby. But if the baby is born a few minutes after sunset, you don't have to pay sadaqat al-fitr. But who's counting? We would like to give as much as possible. So please, and it is the value of it is between $10 and $15. Imams were debating and messages and things. Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it, between 10 and 15. If you can give 15 or 20, alhamdulillah. But give it before Salat al-Eid, inshallah. So now I'm going to ask Sheikh Wa'il, Sheikh Mustafa, and Brother Ahmed Yusuf to please come here. Okay, so that inshallah we will witness the Hafazat al-Quran, bi'Iznillah, Surah al-Mulk and Surah Tabarak, and you really need some papers to write the names of the participants, inshallah. Allah barik feek. Allah yahfidek ya Rabb, habibi.
Just to see from Khalid,
Yes,
Sheikh Mustafa can select another, and Sheikh Wa'il can select al-mulk.
you decide.
We can make it parallel.
You decide. Look, بس معلش, what I really suggest, it's a suggestion that to know their skill, they don't have to recite the whole thing. You can just tell them from this ayah, to see if they can really catch up and that they know it well, so that once we know that they have recited 2 minutes worth of whatever you choose, okay, you evaluate them, and inshallah there will be 25 cents for everybody. Okay, so
how many groups are there?
okay.
Two?
We have one that a group that wants to from both surahs, inshallah. Okay, okay. So please take your seats. Yes. No, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so the three of you are going to meet with me, inshallah, until I'm sure that you are experts, bi'Iznillah.
I forgot to tell you, we found this card today in the hallway, so there's a name here if anybody wants it.
Okay, Sister Salwa Al-Halabi. Okay, this is yours. Your name is on it. Okay. Okay, so now can we start? Please have a seat.
We're going to split them into two groups.
Okay,
The one's for Surah Al-Mulk and one's for Surah Al-Naml.
okay,
6 students here, 6 students here, and 6 for both.
okay, but you can do that, but I would like everybody to listen to both groups if possible.
At the same,
Yeah, so if we can make it 2 minutes each, it will pass.
So one group.
One group, please. Yeah, I would like everybody to hear, so that they.
Or could somebody else put it in
Yes,
trust?
so you have to invest it for them. That's what I said in the beginning,
Okay.
because being a team, you are the responsibility.
I went to the lawyer and
Yeah.
drew it all up. and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, until you hand it over to them, that's when you are responsible. So you
Now,
have
I
to,
have one other question for you. Why are the kids not eligible for Zakat? Or why are they not eligible? Why did they make it where Jamal's kids don't inherit? It's
Yeah,
all
yeah, that-
set up
yeah,
now that
yeah,
they,
yeah.
Layla.
Remember we discussed
Yeah.
it. We discussed it together why they are not. Yes. We will talk again, inshallah. Okay, so let us start, inshallah. And okay, now the judges are discussing the criteria, okay, because some know Arabic beforehand, some do not know Arabic, some are young, some are old, some used to know the surah before or partially before, some started, in Ramadan. So all of these are factors that determine, the skill of the participant. But they are the judges and they have to decide, inshallah. So, I leave it to you to start, inshallah, and
Bismillah.
sing. Can you write your telephone number for me?
Start, Dr. Munir.
Absolutely. So I want you to write your name and telephone number. He has the book, so you go and write it with him.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inshallah, we're going to start with, we arrange by surah. We're going to start with Surah Al-Naba and then Surah Al-Mulk, and then we are going to take those who memorize both of them. So for Surah Al-Naba, we have 6 competitors. To start with, we're going to call on Leen Hania. Leen Hania is here.
I don't think she came.
She didn't come. Okay, next. Saifan Kanji. Yeah, come here, please. خليه وجه هنا. Yeah. Turn your face.
Recite it.
Just put it here.
Saifan, huh? Your name is Saifan?
Yes.
How old are you, Saidan?
I'm 11.
11. And you're going to be Surah Al-Naba. Right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Start from the beginning.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا.
Are you doing good? Yeah. إن المتقين
إن المتقين مفازة حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا وكواعب جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا.
جزاك الله خير.
Thank you so much.
تكبير.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. Let's not clap, let's just say Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, جزاكم الله خيرا. So we're gonna take the next one, Akram Ayyad. Akram is here? Yeah. Thank you. Surah An-Naba, huh?
All right, testing, testing. How is this sounding?
Yeah, you sit in the back.
Yes.
Your name is Akram?
Yep.
So just whatever you
I am in grade 12, 18 recently. Just turned 18 this Ramadan.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا.
إن يوم الفصل كانت ميقاتا. إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في السور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا.
تكبير.
الله أكبر.
No.
جزاكم الله خيرا. Next one is Shahzeeb Yusuf.
Shahzeeb, how to spell your name, sir? Shahzeeb?
You can just catch it. Your age?
How are you, Shahzeeb?
I'm good. I'm 11.
You're doing Surah An-Naba?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, start from أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن للمتقين مفازا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن للمتقين مفادا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان. إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في السور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إن جهنم إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله.
Good job. The next one is Amin. I don't know his last name. Amin As-Salman.
ما شاء الله.
Sheikh Amin. Your age? 11. Okay.
And you do something about it? You can put it on your أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وخلقناكم أزواجا.
وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا وفتحت السماء وإن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا.
ما شاء الله.
الله خير. Good job. Next one, Omar Abdul Hamid. He didn't come. Okay. We're gonna move to Surah Al-Mulk. Yeah.
Because some people, they're not on the list.
Those who didn't register will be at the end. So, yeah.
معلش.
Okay. Come. Okay, no problem. Let's take Surah Naba together. Okay. So, come. Yeah.
Omar, your name's Omar?
Your name?
You're 13?
Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا ورب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون من أذن له الرحمن فقال ثوابا ذلك يوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا كريبا يوم يذر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا.
الله أكبر. Next one. Yeah, come. Your name and your age.
Zayd, Z-A-Y-D, and then 14.
Zayd?
Zayd, yeah.
What's your last name?
Kadri.
You're 13?
No, 14.
14. ما شاء الله.
Naba as well, right?
Are you married, Zayn?
Yeah.
Let's start from وجعلنا الليل لباسا.
وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا.
Allahu Akbar. Good job. Is there anyone who is not in the list? You are not on the list for Surah An-Naba? Okay, come. Okay. You come first. Okay. Sit here.
Munir.
Munir? Is your name Munir? Oh,
Dr. Munir?
he is number one.
You're number one. You're lucky. And how old are you?
And 5.
5.
MashaAllah.
يلا بسم الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سلام على النبي العظيم ثم كل سعلمون.
Yes.
ألم.
So you memorized until here?
Yes.
So, this is so good, so good. Good job.
MashaAllah.
Takbir, Allahu Akbar.
MashaAllah.
Yalla, you're
Very
first.
good.
And come.
Okay, is there anyone else? Yeah, Surah An-Naba as well? Both, okay. We're doing both? Okay, we're doing Yasmin?
No, I'm tired.
So your name, you didn't just...
Okay, لازم نعمل خطين هنا.
بس
One for Surah An-Naba and one for Surah Al-Mulk. Is there anyone else for Surah An-Naba? Okay, I think that's it. Oh, there's one more?
Abdul Hafiz for both, right?
For both?
For
Okay.
both. So,
both later بعدين.
Okay. 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 We can do next time for Surah An-Naba after she's done.
But she said for both.
It's okay, we'll do both. So بس لازم نحط خط لسورة النبأ ونحط الثاني لسورة الملك حتى ما نخلط Yeah, okay. بس now we'll do Surah النبأ. هذا أول شيء. What's your name? Tala. And your last name? Saleh. How old are you? 13. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا فتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت ميقاتا للطاغين مآبا مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا.
Very good, but just slow it down a little bit. MashaAllah, you're very fast.
حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حساب رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا.
Allahu Akbar. Good job. Tala, you can come again for Surah Al-Mulk as well.
Someone try to slow down.
Everything's good, just slow it down.
So you can lead the prayer sometimes for the sisters.
Inshallah. تفضل يعني.
هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مراكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور أمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا وستعلمون كيف نذير لقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نذير أولم يروا كيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صفات ويقلمن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرين إلا في غرور. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا وسيعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماءكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين.
الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير والذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نكير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير.
الله أكبر ما شاء الله. عبد الحافظ الحلبي.
I know I only have. I was supposed to do.
Yeah, just certain number.
Yeah.
You were supposed to do 2.
Yeah, but I only have Mulk 1/2 and a page. A page and a half memorized. That's all.
But the Naba is complete.
Yes.
We'll just do certain number.
Okay.
Your name's Abdul Hafid? How old are you?
15.
Okay, start from
إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأس دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها برد ولا شرابا إلا حميم وغساقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حساب
ما شاء الله.
الله أكبر.
Yes. Let's test in the Surah Al-Mulk whatever he knows from it. Yeah.
What is the last ayah?
Because he put the effort to memorize that.
I think it was 17, 16.
That's okay. Yeah. We'll give you like 3 questions and whatever you answer.
Okay, start from the beginning.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير.
قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار لكم. So like it's your question. So like
No, this is good enough.
الله أكبر. Good job عبد الحافظ. جزاك الله خير. Thank you.
So Surah An-Naba is complete now. Is there anyone else for Surah An-Naba? Surah An-Naba?
For both?
For both as well?
Okay, so we have a list for both. One second, please. We have a list for both. We'll take the list for both, and then we'll take the newly registered.
He's not for both, is he? No, just Naba.
Only Naba. So only Naba is gonna come. Now after that, we'll take the list, please. Yeah. Your name?
عبد الرحمن نبهاني. 9. إن للمتقين مفازا لابثين فيها حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وبنينا فوق جعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم 7 شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا
Allahu Akbar. So is there anyone for An-Naba only? Surah An-Naba only? Not? Okay. So we're going to take the list for both. Yasmin Ahmed. Yasmin.
So this is for both surahs, right? Or just Naba? Only Naba?
Only Mulk. Only Mulk. Okay.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين ولقدنا لهم عذاب السعير والذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا
الله أكبر. Good job. ما شاء الله. The next one for both surahs, Bashar, Hamu, Bashar.
Yes. Hamu. H-A-M-O. 21. وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير
ما شاء الله الله أكبر. ريحان كنجي. You memorize الملك as these are for both. Okay, I will come to you later. Yeah. Rehan, yes. Your first and last name and your age.
Rehan Kanji, and I'm 13. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل للأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فرجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم رجع البصر قرتين ينقلب إليك بصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زين وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير قل هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور أأمنتم من في السماء يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء يرسل عليكم حاسبا فستعلمون كيف نذير قل هو الرحمن آمن به وإليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماءكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين.
الله أكبر.
What's your name? Muhammad. Are you doing both surahs? What's his name on the list?
Last name. Your last name? Muhammad Al-Alim. Your age.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا ماكثين فيها أحقابا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا ماكثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون من دونه منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها نجوما للشياطين واعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير والذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أم من يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين.
الله أكبر. سما 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 العليمي.
How old are you, son?
12.
Okay, ready? I'll start from the beginning.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون. كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون. ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. أعوذ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعددنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وكنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكوهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم من أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم. قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين. قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين.
الله أكبر ما شاء الله. زيد حسن is here. Okay, is not here. We move to Amir Yosef. Amir Al Yosef. He's 18 years old.
Amir Al Yusuf?
Yeah, the last one.
You're doing both surahs?
He asked for Surah Al-Rahman, but Dr. Munir told you that? Dr. Munir قال له Surah Al-Rahman.
Oh, okay.
يعني الرحمن بس؟
Surah Al-Rahman عنده؟
بس كيف الكومبيتيشن هتكون كيف؟
معلش
لوحده.
كيفية الحفظ
تشجيع ماشي.
كأنه الرحمن.
Sorry, what is your name again?
Amir.
أمير اليوسف.
Okay, before anybody leaves, I just want to say that inshallah results will be announced on Tuesday, during Taraweeh. So I hope inshallah to see everybody. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. مرج يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. يرسل عليكما شواظ من نار ونحاس فلا تنتصران. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. مدهامتان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان نضاختان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما فاكهة ونخل ورمان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهن خيرات حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان حور مقصورات في الخيام يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ولمن خاف مقام ربه جنتان.
Now I don't want anyone who did not read with this quality to feel, here we go, we lost the 25 cents. No, you see, that's why the judges were taking everything into consideration. So don't you worry at all. Okay, we'll try to get rid of him. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, no, everyone has a certain background. So you don't have to worry about a thing. Okay, am I correct? Am I correct? Say it loud. I'm not. Okay.
So we still have.
Yeah, this is on YouTube, by the way, so you can get portions of it, mashallah.
We have Muhyiddin Al Yusuf, your brother. Same color.
Are you better than him, or?
How old are you?
13. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير بسم الله أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهداء من يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين.
ما شاء الله، راحت عليك.
الله أكبر، ما شاء الله.
ما شاء الله، ما شاء الله.
Next one, زيان عزيز. زيان عزيز. Not here? Okay. علي الزين. علي الزين. No? Mayar. Mayar is here. Okay. We have Muhammad. I don't have his last name. Muhammad. Okay.
Who's here?
Yeah, you are here. You. Muhammad.
No, Muhammad read.
Muhammad Bilal. You're ready. For al-Mulk, yeah. For al-Mulk.
Oh, you're doing both. Okay.
Your name is Muhammad Bilal.
Okay. Muhammad Bilal. You're 13 years old? Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا
ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزانتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور أأمن
ما شاء الله، ما شاء الله.
الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء وما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير وأسروا قولكم أو جهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور فوقهم صافات ويقبض ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن
ما شاء الله عليك.
قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماءكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين الله رب العالمين صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله الله أكبر. So we still have anyone who didn't participate? Yes, come. Your full name?
My name is Baha Alaga.
محمد بهاء ما شاء الله.
11.
Are you doing both surahs?
Yes.
الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا
ما شاء الله عليك.
جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير.
ما شاء الله ما شاء
الله أكبر. So is there anyone not yeah come
عماد منير صالح. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله.
النبأ والملك إن شاء الله. عماد منير صالح.
42. In 4 days I will complete 4 days.
ما شاء الله.
Okay, start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن يوم الفصل.
إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا.
بسم الله ما شاء الله.
تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور.
ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن
إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين الله
No, I believe that's everybody.
Anyone left? No?
Okay, I want to thank you for being patient and listening to everybody and feeling that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make this Quran go from one generation to another until we meet him on the day of judgment, inshallah. And I want to repeat that the judges were taking so many things into consideration: the age, the background, the everything. So don't worry, and inshallah there will be recognition for everybody who participated. I'm going to ask the judges to, deliberate among each other, and then if you can send me, a list of what you think. But everybody is going to get something, inshallah. But I need your recommendations, okay, of who is going to get what, inshallah, and whatever observations you want to make before Tuesday, inshallah. So I hope that everybody will be present on Tuesday at Taraweeh time. Jazakumullah khair for being patient and for attending. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاكم الله خير.